What's going on Facebook? Hopefully everybody's having a good day. Like I said, trying to get back into going live more on Facebook. So I will be going live on my Larry's Anything Goes LLC page on Facebook and YouTube within the next hour. So I'll be doing, it's the first of the month, first day of September. So I will be doing my today's forecast. We're all gonna die. And that's just basically me mocking the people in the media and the articles that they put out there. I mean, and whether you consider yourself a Democrat or Republican, or if you like me, you just say, hey, I'm about making my money and handling my business. I don't consider myself either one. But long story short, either way, I mock a lot of the articles that are out there because at the end of the day, the majority of the information that the media put out there is basically to scare the heck out of people or to make people mad. So I make fun of it because at the end of the day, I always say that regardless who's in the White House, governor's house, or mayor's house, money moves are going to be made, and this is up to you to say if you're going to engage with from an economic standpoint, or if you just want to debate about other things so you can make yourself feel warm and fuzzy inside. That's not my bag. That's not my deal. If that's your thing, then do what you do, because life is too short. But anyways, so that's what I'll be doing. I've been home officially a week now from InvestFest, and I feel good. I have a natural high. I feel good about that. Anybody wants to get in the way of that natural high, basically, you might as well, as they say back in the day, it's just time for you to step off, get the hell out of the way. Moves are going to be made from an economic standpoint. Moves are going to be made from a being around the right people standpoint. The trips that if you follow my page, I'm a guy that loves to take trips, and but the future trips are not just going to be. It's going to be about a little bit of this, of fun, and more of this in regards to closing deals, going to events, engaging with people from a business perspective and investment perspective. Because especially for, especially once the world opened up in these last 2 years from 2023 to 2024, I have been traveling all around the United States. I've had the pleasure of going to Canada twice within the last year, because July made it a year. It's officially, because I went to Canada basically with I went to Toronto, Canada in July of 2023. I went to Vancouver, Canada in April of 2024. So within a year's time frame, I've left the United States. That was on the bucket list, even though I went to I like to call it Canada, which is a great country. So this is just me being funny. I like to call it Europe and America Part 2 because it has a lot of, obviously, the colonization of Canada was between the French and the British. But then you have a lot of American influence as well in Canada. And then, of course, a mixture of everything, and plus a bunch of various different cultures from all around the world, which makes the country a great, vibrant place. And it had, given the fact that I've seen most of the, franchises. I mean, heck, I've seen Target. I saw Target. No, my bad. They don't have Target there. I've seen Walmart, Subway, Enterprise, even the hotel, I say that it was a Holiday Inn. So everything for the most part was good to go. But anyways, at the end of the day, so that's the main reason why I'm going live on Facebook, to let people know that, number one. And number two, it's always an opportunity in a situation where I could just say, hey, show some love. What's the deal? Let me know how your weekend is going, since, I can't believe Sunday's here already. Can't believe it's almost 8 o'clock. Time flies when you're having fun, as they say, it's Labor Day weekend, because this is, like I said, this is the weekend that kicks off all the holidays, and then the weather hasn't been the best. So for the people that was going to the beach, it wasn't really the weekend for you to go to the beach, because I know the beaches and the pools after this weekend are basically going to be closed down, as far as outside pools and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, hold on a second, to make sure my dog Max is good. There's certain situations where he wants to be under the blanket, and there's certain situations he doesn't want to be under the blanket. So when I put him under the blanket, then he'll do this, knock the blanket off of him, and then look at me like a crackhead, like, why did you put the blanket on me this way? Or, or why'd you lift the blanket up to begin with? Or it is what it is. So my dog is like my child, so I leave it at that. But yeah, man, it's like, I was talking to my mother today, and I was just like, And when she said to me, I sound arrogant when I say this, but I'm not. I'm actually not an arrogant person. I'm probably one of the most humble people you'll ever meet in your life. I have my jerkish ways, but everybody does. Nobody's perfect. But I'm one of the most humblest people that you ever meet in your life. But when I said to her, if you aren't basically an asset, then you're a liability. To me, what is an asset as a person or anything in this planet? Okay, an asset is something that can bring you joy. So its joy is laughter, love, fun. A person that could bring you great information, i.e., education, hip you to something that you're not familiar with. Number three, an asset is a person that can help teach you how to make money or business investments or any kind of investments and go from there. These three specific categories. I'm going to continuously harp on this because it's not just about money. Asset could be like comedians. I would say comedians bring joy to people's lives. So people go to a comedy show, they'll spend, if you buy yourself, for the most part, you might spend 60 to $70 between the ticket, the food, and the drinks. If you go with a date, you're going to spend $100 and some change. Okay, that's just the way the game goes. But you're going to have yourself a good time. You're going for the joy and the laughter and the fun. That's what I consider to be an asset. Me going on vacation, but still trying to do business, that's what I consider to be an asset because it's bringing joy. And then for me, I'm all about, like, the one thing I learned at InvestFest, stop being such an introvert, even though that's what I am. Get out there, engage with the people. Like, because for example, like when I'm in Los Angeles, I don't go to Hollywood. I'm where the locals are at. And I got a lot of friends that I know, or just a lot of people that are on my social media friends list, where I'm like, hey, what are the best spots to go for this and that and the other? You talk to all the research online in the world still never will replace that human factor of trying to replace that human factor of, hey, this is the best spot to go to, check this spot out, etc., and so forth. That'll never be replaced. That'll never be changed, in my personal opinion. But you never know. That could happen. Man versus machine. We're all being taken over by robots, etc., and so forth. But the point I'm getting at the end of the day is that that's what I like to be an asset to people. So I would hope that people will want to be an asset for me. So when I say being an asset to somebody, hipping them to some information that can help their lives become much better. Two, bringing some kind of joy, laughter into the equation. I like to joke around. A lot of people don't like that. Oh well, I'm not with the uptight nonsense. I don't mind being serious when it comes to getting down to things that have to deal with life and money. But outside of that, sometimes I want to tell a joke. If you don't like it, have a nice life, as they say in Spanish. Vaya con Dios, go with God, tenga una buen vida. Have a nice life, or tenga una buen dia. Have a nice day. But either way, whatever the case may be, the point of the matter is I'm going to enjoy my life. People are passing away more and more. People that I grew up with, family members. So don't take this life for granted. This guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but I worked with him 10 years ago. Real nice guy, most humblest brother on the planet. And he's had a series of health issues. And in the last 2 to 3 years, he's had lesions on his hip. So he's been going through a multitude of health situations. And this is a person who's one of the most healthiest people. This person, vegetarian, worked out probably 6 or 7 days a week. And he had lesions on his hip. And because of that, he's going through a multitude of situations in regards to his health. And moral of the story is, stop taking every day for granted. Moral of the story is, start appreciating your life. Moral of the story is, if there's things in this life that you want to do, get busy living or get busy dying. The reality of with 50 Cent's first major debut album was Get Rich or Die Trying is because that's what he was and is always about. He's like, hey, and the hard life that he lived growing up in Queens, he's like, hey, I'm about getting it. And I'm about being around people that are about getting it and that can teach you something that you don't know. There's a video of him that circles around on social media. He's talking about, if you around this person and they don't bring nothing to the table, then what the F are you around them for? You wasting your effing time, etc. and so forth. I'm like, that's real. You know, that is probably the realest thing on the planet. Why do you want to be associated with these people? Why do you want to be stuck around these jokers that are just about doing this basic nonsense? You know, that's what I always say. It's just like a friend of mine, he loves to argue with people on the internet, right? Okay. Nothing wrong with that. You know, he gets joy out of arguing with people online. Okay, everybody has their thing. I'm not a big fan of it. If I'm going to argue with people on the internet, it's going to be about what are the best stocks to buy, best places to buy real estate, best new businesses to open up. That's about it. You know, I mean, or maybe if like the world is ending, maybe they'll tell me where the best places to hide. Let's talk about that. But arguing over sports, entertainment, and politics is the biggest waste of time on the planet. But I know a lot of people make money from it, so I can't, you know, completely crap on it. I'm just going to give my perspective is I think it's a waste of time, and I'll leave it at that. Okay. Excuse me. So with that being said, I always say, look, life is too short in that aspect, number one. But then number two, you know, being around people that have nothing to do with your future is the biggest waste of time. And stop settling for less, you know. Because, and people always even talk about this in relationships. Yeah, if you really do bring something to the table outside of sex, then yeah, you have the right to say, hey, I deserve better. Okay, because there's a lot of people online, men and women, who, well, they'll be the first ones to tell you that they deserve the best. They can have it all, but they haven't. You know, life is, you know, like a resume. There's a funny video I shared where it was a spoof, but it was funny. This one man and one woman, they're much more mature, and they were having a discussion about getting married. I thought it was a cool conversation. It was the realest conversation. It was like, this is what dating is like in 2024. But I'm like, hey, at least at the end of the day, these were two adults that were having an adult conversation about what their expectations were. And their expectations weren't going to be met. And it was literally discussed like a business negotiation. You know, he was talking about, hey, this is what I bring to the table financially and from a living standpoint. She said the same thing. This is where I want to live at. She's like, no, okay, well, we already have a place. You have a place. Let's meet in the middle and let's try to live in this specific part of New York and whatnot. And she says, no, I want to live in this part of New York. And then he's like, well, how about if I give up this place, we can live in this part of New York. And she's like, how about I give up my place and we can live in this part of New York, or we can rent this place out. It was literally a business negotiation. Now, it was funny. And then at the end of the discussion, it was like, oh, well, we gave it a shot. It is what it is. I guess we can dissolve this meeting. All right, well, best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. Walked away. It was funny, but it was real at the same time. Why was it real at the same time? Because to me, real adults can have a conversation without having to get in a yelling match, without having to cuss each other out and say whether they agree or disagree, and say, you know what, that it is what it is. That's cool. This isn't going to work. Let's walk away. No hard feelings. Because business is done like that all the time. Great example. I remember one mechanic I used to use for my car. And he was good. His brother took over the operation. Brother was a straight up douchebag. Okay. So I was like, okay, well, with that being said, you know, I'm the customer. And therefore my money talks. And if you don't respect my perspective on situations of how I do business, because basically what I would do is I would buy parts that was cheaper than the auto parts company that they utilize. So therefore, the price that they would get from me would be cheaper because I would just buy the parts for the work for the car, and then they would just charge me. I say, hey, just charge me the labor, and don't charge me a diagnostic fee because I already know what the heck is wrong with it. So all you need to do is charge me for the labor. And he's like, well, that's not how we operate now because, you know, and it's his shop, his operation. So I said, okay, cool. Like, respectfully, I'm gonna take my business elsewhere. I'm gonna move on with my life. No police was called, no fighting, no arguing. Got you. Respect. It's your shop. This is how you're gonna run things. Cool. I'm taking my money elsewhere. And that's just what it is. And that's how it should be in a relationship. If you're gonna dissolve things, dissolve it, but do it in a respectful manner. The problem is people get a little bit too emotional, and especially in today's world with the whole social media aspect, people lose their freaking minds. They start, especially people